SAKAP, YERRRRR. What's poppin'? What's up? Hey man, this video we're not gonna get into what the schedule looks like or anything like that. I've been gone, I have been, but I'm back, I'm right here, we talking, see? And I'll make a separate video if requested on what it's gonna look like in the future. As of right now, I'm just speaking on a question my brother had gave me, and I was actually up. Right now it is, you see that? 8:37 a.m. in the morning, so I'm up. I just finished taking a shower and I'm about to play Apex, but this question was on my mind and my dopamine levels, which could also be another video because I don't usually say dopamine levels, is at a standard. It's at its high, right? It's at where it's supposed to be, and I'm able to speak, and I usually spew out information until it goes down. And so I was in the shower talking, dissecting it a little bit more. The question he had asked me, of course, that question is, who has more control in the relationship? Now, the initial answer I gave my mans was whoever's more toxic, and I was speaking on today's times. The reason I said that is because the concept of power to me is already a toxic concept, and especially in times now where people are putting labels and standards that are unimaginable for others to achieve, and they're using that to belittle them, and somehow, in some way, they would still get with people who do it in different instances, and the one who do it better is the one who has power over that relationship, because essentially they can manipulate the other person into trying to achieve whatever dream they have for themselves in that person, you know what I'm saying, when it's not made for that person more than likely. And even if it's made for that person, it should not be made and carried out in that way. And so I want to give another answer. I feel like that answer was very surface level, right? Let's dig deeper. The concept and digging deeper is just giving a concept of what I believe a relationship entails. A relationship entails. And I started off by saying that the idea of submission became unattractive to females, right? Because of the men that were being submitted to were undeserving for submission to begin with. And so submission is something that is earned. Submission is not something that is granted. Submission is not something that revolves around someone having more of anything over another person. That is the physical form of submission. I feel like the relational form of submission, the submission that people desire behind a marriage, comes from that commitment of marriage, right? It's like picking and choosing what you want. And what I feel like submission is a lifestyle that is given to you through processes of multiple aspects being hit and made for said person. Let's kind of break it down, and not break down the processes, but break down the look of submission, right? What I believe the look of submission to be is, on a female side, is to be submissive in their funds, their empathy, their emotional capacity, their thought process, the things they do in terms of catering to people, the capacity they have for that person, and the lifestyle they live, whether it's a lavish one or one that's moderate in some people's eyes, and or maybe even poor in some people's eyes, and what they are willing to do for said person, right? That's that submission, and that's honestly given. But what I believe is kind of misconstrued sometimes is a female's interest in her submitting, right? But digressing, back to the topic. What submission looks like when a guy earns it, in my eyes, is providing a safe space for that person, providing security for that person, emotional interest, awareness, provision in mental stability, stimulation in mental capacities, physical capacities, spiritual capacities are met. And these are for both sides, by the way, but I feel like primarily what I would even look for, guys earning it. You know, you add on things like financial stability, the ability to provide in terms of needs and wants. You see what I'm saying? And so the higher you go up in these aspects for both male and female, everyone has their different threshold, right? What I do see for both guys and girls is that they want a threshold they cannot live up to. I'm gonna let that sizzle. That right there, two ways that should sizzle. It's just, the first way it should sizzle is it mitigates any specifications I made or may have insinuated on to be believed. Okay, there was no insinuations. I'm not trying to give this is what you have to do. This is my opinion on what I think submission is for both the male and female giving, because that is something you earn and the guy earning. And two, it's a realistic view on what I meant by being toxic, something deeper. People require an aspect they cannot give. If you want a girl who is going to be there for you 24/7, emotionally available, have common interests, well, common interest is not a part of it, right? Emotionally available, there for you 24/7, clean up after you, take care of the things that you do not take care of, whether it be cleaning, cooking, the space that you live in, keeping it in an orderly fashion, the mindset that you have, the aura of your home, these things that you build, and it being in its utmost condition. You see what I'm saying? Both here, in your mind, in your heart, and around you, and you have to provide something of equal value to her. Now, what do I believe that could be equal value? The materialistic things that she wants, cater to. The space in which she desires to be herself, cater to. The functionality she desires to have, the things and carry out the things she needs to do while you're not around, to make sure that her cup is filled while you are out there being great, needs to be filled. Needs to be filled. The emotional awareness to also cater to her feelings, emotions, mental, spiritual, and physical space, and the ability to lead her in a way where she feels like she can't. If she can always learn from you, then it's always an exchange. That word, exchange, equal exchange. All right, that's power right there. I think I want to end right there. You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? That's the wrap up. So, my mans, if you see this, who has more power in a relationship? I feel like, once again, whoever is more toxic. If you're already coming from a power mindset, you're not in a space, I believe, that could benefit and provide fruition for me in my life. That goes for everything. As a female, don't come to me with that. As my friend, do not come to me with that. It happens in friendships as well. Do not think it is an easy thing to separate a power type aspect in one relationship that does not divvy it into all of your relationships. If you think one way for one thing, pretty sure it's that way for everything else. One. And two, I believe that when it comes to relationships, and the relationship that I want to achieve one day is, I want someone to submit to me, and I want to be a person that is worthy of being submitted to. I'm ending this well. Fuck it, bro. SAKAP, yeah!